Come on. Get up here. Get up here. Good boy. Down. 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 Good boy. Day on the Block interview today. It's your boy, J Mac, tapping in with y'all to let y'all know how this content was built from the ground up. Let me start out by getting this together. But hey, we're here now. So, A Day on the Block was inspired by really just a Los Angeles type of lifestyle. As I came to get older and realized the beauty of South Central and the things that I value most, I also began to understand that not many people are aware of the culture. Many people are oblivious to what South Central can be in all the walks of life you have to experience. There's people out here that going to do great things, and there's people out here that can't get out of their own way. My bad. And truthfully, that inspired me to like sort of pursue a dream of mine that I always had, which was creating my own Friday. Because growing up, me and my younger brother, rest in peace to him, we always watched Friday as kids. Like, not having cable all the time and certain things like that made us always revert back to DVDs in the early 2000s and whatnot. And one movie we would always turn on was Friday. And not having my brother around anymore made me like openly pursue the thought of me creating my own Friday, just for one, in remembrance of him, and two, just actually being passionate about film. So anyways, let me open up my mind about how it came about. So episode 1 takes place here at my grandfather's house. I'm not going to disclose the location just because y'all know how crazy it is out here. But the first episode takes place with me waking up, the B-roll shots leading up to and in the midst of the actual film are locations, for one, that are significant to LA, but I made them, those are locations that I also pass often and think about the history written on the walls of these places. One place was Tom's Liquor Store, which is on Florence and Normandy, which is not too far from where I stay. That's the intersection where the 92 riots began, and it was 5 days of, burning, looting, and whatnot. And my uncle and my papa told me many stories about them partaking in that. But the Slauson, John Muir, just places in LA that everybody know and can relate to. So episode 1 starts with me waking up here, and I'm waking up late and shit. And my grandpa, excuse my language, my grandpa is like, on my head, which he is a lot. That's like a big figure in my life, and he always wants me to wake up early. So boom, I get up, and I actually stole a scene from Friday where Craig goes in the kitchen and it's no milk. So with that situation, him and Smokey end up going to the store. But with my situation, I walked to the store. I always grew up walking around here feeling comfortable and whatnot. And so I go get the milk, and I go on about my day. And then I get a call from my auntie, Lane Dog. Shout out to Lane brand and her brand that she's promoting with the glasses and the lifestyle. And she tells me to meet her in Compton. So boom, that leads into the second episode. And that whole thing, stemmed from me wanting to really pick up where I left off with the initial first episode, because I didn't know how well it'd be perceived and how people would take it. And my confidence was there, but I wasn't as confident in my ability on creating. So that leads us to the second episode, where now we in the car pushing to Compton. We on the 110, and when I get there, Asia's not there. I go holler at all the big homies from over there. Shout out to Compton Cowboys and everybody from Compton who support the movement that I was trying to push too. Especially the fact they gave me that Compton Cowboys jersey that you'll see me wearing throughout parts of 1 and 2. So shout out to them for sure for being, cool role models and dudes I look up to. So I get out there, Asia's not there, so Say So, which is my cousin, shout out to him. His music is featured throughout this whole thing. And, I'm just chopping it up with him on a business tip because, I felt like that scene was important for one, just to us, because it's like us really chopping it up on a real accord, but also just, I feel like you don't see a lot of young black men speaking on business and creating content and stuff of that nature. So I felt like that scene was circled around that and locking into his content, what he got going on, and telling that nigga he needs to drop more music. He's a dope artist. I think everybody should lock in with him, tap in with him. City Boy Say So on Instagram, shout out him. And then I get a call from Vic, but Vic is my big homie. Shout out Act Right, and I'm a part of that movement. But that actual voiceover is he's my 7th grade, 8th grade teacher, Mr. Adebayo, and he really turned into like a brother in my life. He live out in Atlanta now, and he did the voiceover. I sent him the concept, and he sent it back to me, and it sounded great, so we used it. And I'm going to the office to go handle some business how I usually would, because within this is my type of events from a Friday, because Friday is everything that happens in a regular walk of life in LA. So I opened up and really just put my life into a script. So we head to the office where I go do some business for Vic, and it's this view at the office, this beautiful view that always reminds me of the goals that I want to reach, because every time I go up there, you see downtown and just the buildings, and for me, it's like thinking, damn, all of this started from zero at one point, and now we're here, and it's just like a beautiful sunset aura. I made sure to capture that. And then I head back home to where my auntie and me eventually do link up, and we're hanging out, and then finally I walk her to the car, and somebody pull up on me checking the temperature, and shots ring off, and that's the end of part 2. And that reception was well perceived too, because up until that part where I was shot, quote unquote, that was the end scene in the whole A Day on the Block series. I never planned on stepping past that scene, because that was, I feel like, my fork. Like, people are gonna be hung up on that, and especially I did a deep breath at the end, to where it's like up to what you decide happened, like whether I died on the scene or I took my last breath of air, etc. So when the reception for part 2 came out and everybody locked in and seeing what I did, and they seen how far I came, just as far as 1 to 2, the trending topic as far as my peers and the people who locked in with my content well, you gotta do a part 3, bro. You gotta do a part 3. And I'm thinking to myself, as a young dude, this being my first project, I'm thinking, what higher place can I take this? Like, what, at this point, people have understood what I narrated and I created at a high level, and what place can I take it from here? And I just remember sitting on that idea for months, maybe like 2 months or so. And I was watching the news with my grandfather. I usually, we wake up early and watch the news and have some tea and all that type of good stuff. So when I was watching the news, I seen this report, the actual report that I used in a promo for part 3, where it said that gang violence has spiked in LA over, I believe, 44% since last year. No, since 2019, and it spiked like 20% since 2020. And I remember thinking to myself, like, that sort of bothered me because I feel like the people who are being, killed and gunned down, I don't want to say a lot of myself in them, but to actually bring it to the light and realize that the people who are being put in these situations and getting shot and getting hurt behind guns and gang violence, they fit the same criteria as me. Like, young black dudes, some pushing the line, some may not be. And I feel like, what I was doing, I wanted to shed light on the situation that had been brought to my attention. Because at the beginning of when I shot part 1 was January, the beginning of the year. So the totals had not been really brought to my attention. So watching this, I was saying about June, and seeing the spike and hearing the stories and just, the writing on the walls of, this is going on over here. Be careful, stay out the way, X, Y, and Z. And I felt like I just wanted to shed light on that. And so going through the progressions of making part 3, I had told 1050, like, I don't want nobody to know I'm making a part 3. I wanted the scarcity level to be high in the actual brand. So I didn't tell anybody, any fans, I was making a part 3, and I sat on it for about a month or two. And then the idea came to me on using the actual reactions that I got from part 2, with people acknowledging the fact that I had been shot in the film, and, that taking a plot twist, because, I feel like for a first project, that's not what you do. You don't go kill yourself, but that was just my way of thinking at the time. So that rollout led into, okay, what message do I want to send as I make this? So going through part 3, I sort of took a step back from traditional, oh yeah, I feel like it's just in our culture to be like, oh yeah, they shot you, we're gonna go return a favor. That's just how people think, and not to demean anybody's choices, but I'm not that type of person. I didn't grow up that way. My mother didn't raise me that way. And I felt like voicing that and being the voice of that would speak volumes for itself, because you don't see a lot of people speaking against the trend. Like, if that's, because truthfully, anybody in that situation would feel the anger to feel like I want to go make them feel how I felt. And to go against that tide would be like truthful to being myself. I'm not going to hop in the car and go try to hurt somebody based on what happened to me, As long as and I said this in the film, as long as I'm still here, that's all that really mattered to me, because I got family I still got to answer to. I still got, life goes on. But entering that last stage of part 3, which I call the outro, I really just thought to myself, I would rather educate people the way I would like to be educated. I don't personally feel like a lot of people understand the lifestyle that you live by when you live in South Central, which led to my monologue. I was at work. I was working at a security place, and I had a lot of time in the booth, and I just started writing. And when I got to the last portion of the treatment on what I wanted to create, it just came down to how I truthfully feel at this day and age living in LA. Like, no matter what room you step into, where you hang out at, where your people stay, anything, it's like none of that really matters when somebody see you and feel like it's you that they want to harm. And I feel like not a lot of light has been shedded on that as far as our modern day LA. Like, a lot of people are being hurt based off of assumptions, I would say, and I wanted to. A lot of people make it cool and not to demean game banging. It's a cultural way of life, and I've educated myself as far as the fact of what game banging was and how far it's came. But I really wanted to get into the message, the overall message of where a young black man from South Central stands. And I feel like a lot of people normalize and feel like game banging is cool. And I've even spoke to some people who I respect who push their line themselves, and they will let you know that a lot of people just want to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. And I feel like nobody really voices the I'm not from nowhere. I'm just here to get my money and be black and be happy. And that's where that monologue came from, as far as me saying, like, I don't gang bang, bro. Like, for the people who see that outside of the people that I know, it's just truthfulness. I'm not from nowhere. I ain't pushing no line. I'm just here to be about my business and be happy, bro. So when you see me, you hop out on me, you feel like you want to, whatever, at least I made it known what I represent. I'm not shying away from it. I'm not nothing I'm not. I'm born and raised in South Central. You know, my mom, she moved to the IE, Riverside area, and I had a choice to go with her. Moms want to better her life and get away from what the city brings, and I never moved with her at 16, 17, because I felt like, truthfully, I didn't want to leave what I call home, being South Central. And even though I know the aspects of what I deal with on a day-to-day basis, as far as the police, as far as gang members, as far as just life in general out here, I felt like, truthfully, I would be fake, and not to, even demean moms, but I wouldn't want to take that route. I'm gonna get it where I feel like it's home, and that's why a lot of the content I create is right here. My grandfather has been living here since 1960, and that'll be going on, I believe, to be 62, 3 years. But yeah, so overall the content was well perceived. Part 3 got a lot of people looking this way and just trying to see what type of content I'm creating. And moving forward, I do look forward to creating more and being a part of more creative projects. And now people are actually acknowledging me on a level of business and, maybe a little bit of notoriety. People like checking me out like, oh, dang, what he got going? People don't really see the grind, the everyday grind, and the shit. They just see the final product, but they openly received it. It was a lot of people tapping in with me, being real vocal about how they felt about it. I had a homie that actually got shot, and he reached out to me and told me how much it meant to him just being one of them numbers of almost being a homicide. And he said it really touched him. And he showed love, posted it, shout out him. People saying it was like a cultural feel, because really within the vines of creating this, I wanted to reach out and touch the people that are like me, that are from South Central, that understand why you park your car backwards, that understand why you look over your shoulder, that understand why when the police drive down the street, you stop and look at them like they suspect. Just that culture because I had to take a step away and I took a step away and start hanging out with people who didn't understand it. So when I would bring it to the table, like, this is the way I live when I'm at home. I don't wear shower shoes. I don't, I'm not going to be caught lacking on a bad day. I'm not going to put myself in those positions to even, you know, be put in a bad spot to where somebody got to call moms and tell her, I wouldn't want to be in those positions at all. And I felt like creating this project from start to finish is just me being myself on a day-to-day basis. And really that I feel like a lot of people can connect, because it's like it ain't like I was doing anything that invoked people to come catch me or whatever the fact of the matter is, but that's just how we live. You could be, as square as they come. If they feel like you fit the description, then what can you really do? And that's the sad truth about being from South Central. If you hanging out in the street or on your porch and somebody with malice intentions feel like it's you that they want to try today, what can you really say about it? That's sort of my mind frame when I was creating this. And my ending in the outro with Nipsey speaking on how when you go hunt, as far as a gang member's perspective, I wouldn't know, but just watching an interview from him one day and him saying when you go hunt for somebody looking for yourself on the other side of town, that inspired the idea of me actually showing that it was me shooting myself, just because that was deep. And even in the interview, you hear them saying like, man, that was deep, because I feel like even though I'm not a gang member, just the knowledge on it is like, it blows you away to know that when you go look for somebody to go kill, you're looking for yourself. That can really warp somebody's mind, like, damn, and just putting that knowledge out into the world, I feel like anybody who truthfully seen it, it might not change the world, it might not really open up a lot of eyes, but it was a truthful perspective. So I feel like the next time somebody who's seen what I put out as far as the content goes and keeps that in mind, like, I hope that, it might save somebody's life, that they realize what they doing, realize their selection process, realize that, they not out here just to hurt another black man in any way. And I feel like that was just my truthfulness in the project, as far as like speaking on a young dude from South Central on a Saturday, just hanging out, being himself, being caught in a bad position to turning it into a good situation, and shedding light on the situation that not only myself, but a lot of people like me are living in, as far as growing up in South Central and your life being on a thread every day. And it's nothing that you can really do or say about it. It's just a way of life that you gotta abide by. And that was truthfully my creative process as far as making A Day on the Block 3. If you haven't seen it, I would say you go check it out. Shout out to 1050 for helping me with the whole project. To many more projects to be created. I just was a part of a creative direction in a music video for J Mill Karma. Go check that out now. And yeah, like I said, if you ain't seen A Day on the Block from 1 to 3 yet, I think you should check it out. It's a dope film that I created by myself. I sat and wrote it in my kitchen. I ain't no different from nobody else. I just wanted to shed light on the situation of what we was living in. And it's your boy J-Macc checking out. Finna spark this bleezy, kick it with my dog, and do what we gotta do. But A Day on the Block Part 3, check me out. Oh wow, my grandma's here. That's different. She don't never come over here. Seriously, my grandma right there. Hey, grandma. Interview? Hey. Okay, call me when you get home. All right. What's that, like a blooper or some shit? That was crazy. I swear to God, she ain't never done that before. Um, damn. Okay. Where was I at?